Good morning, all of you. Today we are going to start the S.St. Civics, chapter number 1, The Emergence of Democracy, part 1. So, student, in this chapter we will learn about what is democracy and how the democracy get emerged in our society or in the world. So in the scenario of that, in the continuity of that, we will also learn the different areas in which how the democracy is get emerged, like what is the beginning or the base of the democracy and how it get existence in the previous time, and now how the democracy through that area, means through that line, from its starting to its current situation, how the democracy changed and what are the things which are added in the democracy. Those all things we have to read in this chapter. So let us begin with the chapter um, that is given in your book. So the first question arises here: what is democracy? So if I ask this question, so this question is already you are knowing in class 5th or 6th. In your previous classes you have already studied this term, the democracy. So let me explain you once again what is democracy. Democracy means the form of government in which the government is elected by the citizen of the nation through the election process. So this is the democracy. Basically this democracy word is represent the rule of the people. How does it represent the rule of people? Because democracy is the combination of two Greek words. Democracy is the combination of two Greek words, which is demos, which means the people, kratos, which means the rule. So here according to that, the democracy is what? It is the rule of people. It is means the rule of people. So how the people can rule? People do not rule. People choose their representative. In democracy, people choose their representative. They by through the election. So that representative will work on behalf of the people. That representative will work with behalf of the on behalf of the people. So that is the democracy. So for this, you have to also understand um, the famous person of the of our history was Abraham Lincoln. So he was known for his president, like he was the president of America. So he also described the democracy as the government where the government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Means democracy is what? It is the government of the people, the government which is made by the people, which is for the people, like when people elect their representative, so it is the of the people, by the people who choose the representative. The representative is get elected by the people, and when that representative get elected, so that representative will work for whom? That representative will work for the people only, those who have chosen them. Means the person who, like the citizens of any country who has chosen the representative, that representative will work for the people, those who have who was chosen by. So this is the democracy, or this is the definition that is given by the Abraham Lincoln. So there are several more definitions are there, which describe the democracy. So this one is the best example, or we can say best definition, that is given by the Abraham Lincoln. The democracy is a form of government of the people, by the people, and for the people. Now you can see a map is pasted on this slide. Okay, that is also in your book, it is mentioned. So what that this map represent? So here this map represent the uh, areas. There you can see the index which is present. So the yellow one is representing the democracy. The green, lighter green colored is presenting the partial democracy. The pink one is providing the totalitarian monarchy. The orange one is providing or giving the information about the authoritarian government, and or we the purple one is the others one. So this is the example. So now you can see the which color is most found on the world map. So you will say the yellow one, because yellow one is the color which is representing the democracy. So almost all of the country in 195 there are several countries, there are the maximum number of countries which follows the democracy, and there are several countries which is also following the different form of government. But the democracy, if we count the ratio, so democracy is followed by the maximum number of countries, because democracy is a government which provide the several rights to the people, those who are the part of the democracy in any country. So that is why democracy is the most important, or we can say most famous form of government which is used by the used by the several countries which are present in the world. So let us see what are the main features. What are the main features of the democracy which made it to used by the several people. So first of all we have to see about the birth of democracy, how the democracy took birth, or how the democracy is get started. So basically the democracy is you are knowing very well, the democracy is a Greek word. Sorry, democracy is came from the two Greek word, that means demos. Demos means people, and kratos means rule. So basically this is came from the two term, that is demos and kratos, which is introduced by the Greeks. So this word is firstly used by the Athenians, or we can say the people of Athens. So they have used this particular word in their on time. It's been fifth. It's mentioned the 5th century. It's mentioned the 5th century, which was a time where they have used this particular form of government, the democracy. Not exactly, not exactly this form of government is present in the Greek, but some of the features, are present in the democracy, present in the Greek, which is relatable to the democracy. So let us see what is present in the Greece. So in the Athens, the ancient city state of Greece, all the male citizens formed a body called assembly. So all male members. Now you can see in the picture there is no female at all in that picture. All the male members are there. So male members formed a body called assembly. So they have formed a group that is known as assembly, that took the important decision of the state. Means they take all of the decision related to the nation or the Greece. This perhaps the earliest form of direct democracy where the people directly participate in the government. So this is also very important to know, that this is the most probably the first form of democracy where people directly participate in any of the hearing and any of the decision. So this is the first example that we get from the Greece during the 5th century or 6th century, near about 5th or 6th century. Okay. So the how it possible, because this ancient Greek was divided into many small cities. It is known as state, and these city states provided only the adult male citizens to give the vote opportunity. It does not allow women, slaves, or the foreign resident. What is the meaning of foreign residents? The person who have inhabited in the Greece, but its ancestor was not the was not from the Greece. Means they have came from any other part of the area, and but they had resided in the Greece. So that person is known as the foreign resident. That person is known as the foreign residents. They are also not allowed. Women are also not allowed, and slaves are also not allowed. So slave is what? The bounded labor, we can say, or the bounded person who have to listen their honor. So basically these three type of people are not allowed to cast their vote, or we can say they are not allowed to saying say in the meeting, means they do not utter a word while there is a meeting is going on. Even they do not attend, even they do not attend those meetings which is done by the Greek person during the 5th or 6th century as a part of democracy. So these people, the adult male members, they met at one place and they participate, or we can say they conduct the day-to-day governance, or they voted and framed several laws on the different issue. So this is what this is done in the, this is one of the features which is present in the democracy. People used to discuss with each other and forms the law. So people used to discuss, the ministers, the representatives, those whom we have chosen, they will decide, or they will discuss ki what is good or what is wrong for the people, those uh, like whom we have chosen, yeah, whom they have chosen by. So they will decide for, they will decide uh, what to do. So here is the example where they choose, or they used to participate in the day-to-day governance. They take their decision, they frame the law, and this shows, this shows the example of direct democracy which was prevailed in the ancient Greece. Clear? So this is the first example where they have the opportunity, the people are together, they form the government, or we can say they have their saying in any meeting, means the people or the adult male member, they can say, they can utter, or they can like speak up something in front of the all people. So what they are doing, they are participating in the governance. They take the decision, they, if they have to form something, if they have to form the law or something, so they can easily interrupt if somebody is not liking the form of a decision, or what they have took, what the decision they have decided, or what the decision they have took. They must speak up, and they uh, they can suggest what can be done for these things. So this is the first example that we get from the 5th or 6th century, that means more than 2600 years or 2500 years back from the today's time. So this was the first example. Now moving towards the next topic, that is the slowly and gradually, slowly and gradually, the features of democracy is getting more and more good. That means there are new things is getting added in the society or the world. So first of all, you have to also understand the medieval period situation, because the 7th class always stating about the medieval period, because in the history you had you will, in history you will learn about the medieval history of Indian subcontinent, or the somewhere it is also mentioned some of the stories regarding to the other part of the world in small slots or in small boxes. So that this class will tell you about the medieval period of time, medieval time period, where how this democracy emerged. So we had seen the uh, we had seen the example or the proof of democracy in the ancient Greek, which was approximately 25 to 2600 years back. Now uh, let us see how the democracies get developed during the 13th or the medieval period, or we can say 13th or 14th century uh, in the European areas, European countries. So first of all, we have to understand that the European countries follows one of the famous system, that is known as feudalism. One of the famous system, that is the feudalism. So basically, Europe follows this custom or this system from the 5th century to 14th century. So let us know what is the feudal system. What is the feudal system? Now you can see the feudal system, there is a pyramid. There is a pyramid that there you can see the first pyramid, at the first of the pyramid, or the top of the pyramid is a pope. Pope is what? Pope is the priest that is prevailed in the medieval European countries. And then king, the second highest authority or the first highest authority in the nation was the king, but in the form of priest, the godman is the pope. The next is the nobles or the lords. So nobles are the lords, or we can say the ministers which get appointed through the king. So they are the third at the top third one. The fourth one is the knights or the vassals. So knight and vassals means the soldiers which are present in the fourth number. The last one, the base of the pyramid of feudal system, is the peasants or the serfs, because this whole empire, the whole European empire, is dependent upon the peasants and serfs which are present in the European countries. Now, how they are relatable? Let us see. So Pope is the highest authority. Pope is the priest, and in the suggestion of with the suggestion of Pope, king used to rule the whole country. Now, king provided lands. King provided lands to the nobles or the lords. So here what they do? The king provided lands to the nobles or the lords. So the nobles and the lords provided the land to the peasants. Land to the peasants. And what the peasants will do? They will do the farming and agriculture work, and after doing the farming and agriculture work, they provide the taxes to the rulers, and also the knights, the soldiers, to the rulers. See there, the pyramidical form of the feudal system in Europe. The first one is the king. The pope is the head, or we can say the priestly head for the country. So the first is the king. The king owned all the land in the country and made the laws. He gave an area of land called a fief to the rich lords and the nobles. So king is what? King had the authority that the country's land, means wherever the area which is captured by the king, that all areas or the lands are under the king. The whole lands are belongs to the rulers or the king. So this is known as the lands, or we can say the land grants. The land grants means some part of land that is provided to the nobles or the lords. Nobles or the lords means mantris and all, the ministers and all. So they get the fief. Fief is what? It is a land grant. It is a land gifts that is given by the rulers to the lords and nobles by providing the means, because they had provided the best soldiers to the king for the protection of army. So how these nobles are providing the soldiers to the nobles, soldiers to the king? Let us see. In return, lords and nobles agreed to supply the king with the soldiers and the horses for his army. Now, here you have to also understand, king what did? King provided the land to the lords and the nobles. So when they provide land to these people, so nobles what they will do? They will also provide something to the ruler, because they had got gift from the rulers. So they have to provide some gift to the rulers back again, means return gift we can say. So they will provide the return gift to the king by providing soldiers and horses for his army. Means armies get maintained by the ruler. So ruler is what? Ruler is nothing without the army, because army is very important for any ruler. So these nobles, these lords provide the army and the horses, or the fighting horses basically, to the rulers. Then what happens? How these nobles how they are providing the soldiers to the ruler? See, the nobles gave some land to the professional soldiers. So what they do? They used to give the lands to the professional soldiers, the soldiers which are at the highest post, they provided the land to those soldiers. So what the soldiers do? In return, these knights, these soldiers fought for the nobles and the king. Again, see what happens. The land which is provided by king, that land which is provided by king to the nobles will provide the king to the soldiers or the knights. So how the noble will provide soldiers and knight to the king? The soldier will contact with the the noble will contact to the soldiers, and the land which they get from the ruler, that land is given to the soldiers. So soldiers, what they do? The soldiers will join the army and they will fight for the king. Lastly, peasants. Peasants work the land for the nobles and the knights, which who in turn offered them the protection. So the land which is provided by them, the land which is provided by the rulers or the nobles, basically the ruler provided to the nobles, noble provided to the professional soldiers, and professional soldiers is the land they provided to the peasant. Peasant will work. Peasant will work on those land, and in return they get protected. In return they get protected from the rulers. So this is the whole system. This is the whole pyramid that is followed in the whole European countries. This system was followed in the whole European country. So uh, when uh, when when there is an end of feudalism, when there is an end of feudalism, people become more aware of their race and culture and started to unite and giving the rise to the feeling of nationalism. Means when the people become more aware, means they have when they have started knowing that this system is not good, the system which they had opted, the system which is opted by the rulers, that is not good enough, that is not good enough. So they had started opposing the feudal system. So it was during the period that democracy values grew among the people of Europe. So this is the time when they've started thinking about the democratic features. People begin to trust the indirect form of democracy or the representative democracy. Now, people of the Europeans, or the we can say the European people, have started thinking more and more about the democratic form of government, because the democracy is what? That democracy is an indirect form of government where the representative is chosen. So whenever we are going to represent the whenever we are going to choose the representative, so that representative is answerable to us, that representative will answerable to us. But in the feudalism or the feudal system, the ruler or the priest or the nobles are not answerable if some problem occurs. If some problem occurs, so the nobles and the lords and the uh, kings are not answerable to the subjects. But in the democratic form of government, in the representative form of government, the people, the representative is answerable to the people if something mishappens. So the people that is why the people have started opting the indirect form of democracy or the representative form of democracy. So the time has changed, and this particular representative democratic system have existing started existing in the various part of the European countries. So these elected representative, they form the various legislative bodies, and they had also created several laws for the betterment of people. Means they know that if they do not think about the people, so they will also get removed from the post, or they will also get thrown out from the post if they do not work well. So during the 15th and 14th to 15th century, this was the time period which was experienced the social, political, and economic changes, or we can say the ups and downs. So in this the next topic that we have to discuss about the changes the changes which was prevailed during the medieval period in the European countries. Now, how this how this form of democracy is going to uh, exist in the England, how this makes it possible, because the England is what England is the country which already used to colonize the maximum part of the world. Means it is also said that the England's sun didn't get sunset because the British had the almost all of the continents having the colony. That is why sometimes it is used to say it is used as the England does in England the sunset does not appears, or we can say sun does not set. So this is why, because they have colonized the maximum areas whichever is possible to conquer, whichever the areas is possible to conquer. Chalo. So this topic is not the today's topic that you will read in the class 8. So the thing which we have to read in this topic is that how the democracy is going to start in the England, how the democracy is going to start in the England. So this is the way, this is the route, or we can say this is the way in the democracy is going to prevail in the England. So first you can see there is a picture which is given over there, the signing the Magna Carta in 1215 CE. 1215 CE. So this was the Magna Carta which was signed by the ruler King John. That is signed by the King John. And what this Magna Carta stated? What this Magna Carta stated? Magna Carta is, that means the set of rules that is provided by the authority that the ruler have to follow, that is the Magna Carta. So in 1215 the King John has to sign this Magna Carta. Okay. So England witnessed an important development that paved the way for the establishment of democracy in its current form, like whatever it is found in today's. It was started during that time. Monarchy prevailed in England during this time. The decision of a king was considered final. Means whatever the decision is taken by the ruler, that will be considered as final. However, in 1215 CE, a bill called Magna Carta was passed. So this is what it is, a bill. It is a list of things that is to be uh, meant for the rulers to control its power. This term originated from the medieval Latin word Magna Carta Libertatum, which means the great charters of liberty. Means this Magna Carta, after signing the Magna Carta, the liberties or the freedom is to be provided to the citizens of the particular country. It is a charter of rights that agreed by the King John of England, allowing the creation of law-making body called the Parliament. So, firstly, this Magna Carta, this set of basically the set of charters which provide the first authority to form the Parliament in the Britain or the England. This is the first where they provide the law making body, and that law making body is known as the Parliament in the England. The document also stated that the written laws framed by this Parliament would hold a power higher than that of king. So now this Magna Carta has become very most is important thing, because the Magna Carta contains several rules so that the powers of the king can be minimized. The powers of the king can be minimized. The first was the formation of Parliament, and the decision which is taken by the Parliament, or the power which is in the hand of the power which is in the hand of Parliament, that will not exceed, sorry, the it will the powers of the ruler will not exceed from the powers of the parliament. Means whatever the decision is taken by the parliament, the king has to agree on that. The king has to agree on that. So this was the time period. This is the 13th century. uh, the another example of democracy. Democracy is what? The rule of people. Here the rule of people, they have formed the parliament, because parliament is another feature of democracy. Parliament is what? Where the members, where the different members are together, and they decide on, they take the decision on a specific thing. So here in Britain also, after signing the Magna Carta in 1215, this kind of thing, the parliament is going to start, and the power is more than the king. Due to this document, the power of the parliament gradually increased, slowly and gradually. The powers which are in the hand of the uh, in the hand of rulers or the kings, those powers is started decreasing. So this is the base of the democracy. So rulers power is getting decreased, and the power of parliamentary is increased. So parliament is what? Parliament is what? It is a representation of the common people. It is a representation of common people, where the common people work, or where the common people decide that what is good, what is wrong for them. So here the power of king is getting decreased, while that of the power of parliament is increasing, and the power of rulers are decreasing. After approximately after 400 years, in 1628, the petition of right was passed, according to which the king could not impose taxes without the permission of parliament. So this is the another power which is get uh, by the parliament, where the implementation of taxes where the implementation of taxes is not the part of decision, or the king will not decide what amount of taxes to be implemented on the subjects. So this is one more authority. This is another power which is taken by the parliament of the Britain or England, by the ruler of that particular area. And in 1689, after approximately 60 years, the English Bill of Right was passed. And this is the another bill which is passed in the England, that is uh, which gives the more freedom of speech and expression to the people. Means the people can express and speech, means whatever they feels about the government, about the ruler, about the other people, they can easily express, or they can easily think, or they can easily express in front of the people. Thus the power of king is dwindled, means started in decreasing. The common people no longer had to appease the king. Now earlier the kings are the highest authority, so were the highest authorities. So people have to worship, the people have to appease the king, because they all are dependent on the mercy of the king uh, for any of the decision. They are dependent on the mercy of the king for any of the decision. So now these rights which are provided by the parliament by the signing of Magna Carta in 1215, so these things are started providing the more power to the people, those who are who are living in the England. So this gives the next step. This gives the next step for democracy, because this is the one of the another feature of democracy, the parliament, where the people are elected by the sorry, the representative of parliament, or we can say the member of parliament is the representative whom we have elected. Means the peoples were elected, or the representative are get elected, and those representative have the authority, or they have to think about the people. So this is the one more another feature of the democracy which is prevailed in the medieval period, or we can say that that provide the base for the uh, development of democracy in the world. Now, there is another topic that we have to discuss in the next videos are the American Revolution, French Revolution, how the women have to participate in the in the moment of getting rights, and other topics that we have to discuss in the next video. So this topic is over now here, and your homework is done. You have to find out that how this the feudalism, how this feudalism is existed in the European countries, and you have to draw the pyramid. You have to draw the feudal power pyramid in your copy. Thank you, students.